Hi guys, sorry for the delay this morning. I know usually we try to do these first thing in the morning, but it was crazy, which is why I had to delay, and which is why I'm in a Chick-fil-A parking lot right now because I haven't eaten lunch yet. It's great. It's great. Mondayest Tuesday ever. So, let's see if anybody pops on. It's middle of the day, so I don't know what folks have going on. A little late East Coast. Dealing with contractors this morning is not fun. So, I wanted to do some Tip Tuesday training, and I'm doing this without my notes, so hopefully I remember everything I wanted to say. So, talking about what happens when you're in a rut, because we all go through it, especially with our direct sales business. Just the way our business is, and retail is a lot like this too. It kind of goes in cycles. We're getting ready to go into the really busy season in the fall, but it kind of goes in cycles. And it's difficult when you have a business like that to be on all the time. And when you're not able to be on all the time, we tend to get into ruts. And so the real trick is when you get into a rut, what do you do? How do you get out of a rut? I mean, people see it time again, especially with sports teams and things like that, that when you're in a losing streak, you're more likely to continue losing. When you're on a winning streak, you're more likely to continue winning. So how do you kind of go against that flow that's really pulling you towards staying in a rut? Like, how do you get out of that momentum? You know, momentum is not just, again, being in a winning streak, like having this really good stuff. You can have momentum with negativity also. And so how do you get out of that? Because it's kind of human nature that we want to continue doing just whatever we're doing, even though it may be detrimental to what we need to do. So one of the things that I have found to be really helpful is kind of a mindset thing called Go for No. Now, there is a book by that same title. And there's specifically a network marketing version of that book, Go for No, that's co-authored by Ray Higdon. And Ray Higdon is a network marketing trainer that I follow. And I really like the way he teaches, because one of the things he goes really in depth into is how to set up your goals, your network marketing goals, that specifically the way he recommends setting up your goals prevents and helps you get out of ruts with your direct sales business. And so I really like the way he has it set up. Now, so how does he do that? Well, one of the ways he teaches, and how they teach in Go for No, is that instead of setting up your goals to be results oriented, you change it to be activity oriented. And what do I mean by that? So goal oriented, still goal oriented. Results oriented would be more like I have a goal of promoting to Premier. Or I have a goal of having 5 parties this month. Or I have a goal of having $1,000 in PV. Those are all really good goals, but they're result goals. They're not activity goals. So when you get in a rut, what happens is you have this self-fulfilling prophecy thing going on with your mindset. You'll do result goals, and when you don't meet them, you get discouraged. And because you're discouraged, you continue to do activities that are detrimental to those result goals. And so let's say my result goal is having 5 parties or whatever it is. And that's not even good because it's kind of activities. Let's say it's having 1,000 PV. What do I need to do to get that? Or let's say it just doesn't happen. So then I get discouraged and it's like, well, nobody wants to buy. That's what I tell myself. Like, nobody wants to buy, nobody wants to host. And so I stop asking because I've already programmed myself, because I've already had previous bad results, that they will continue to be bad results. And so I don't even try. Like, I basically quit. And I know that sounds bad, but it's not necessarily a failure on your part to think that way. It's really just human nature, because we are programmed as humans to avoid rejection. Okay? And avoiding rejection is just something we're pre-programmed with. We would rather not do the work and not reach our goals than to do the work and potentially get the goals and then be rejected. That's just our human nature. And so it really takes some conscious effort and just really good planning to kind of buck that mindset that we're predispositioned for, to avoid rejection and avoid activity, so that we can meet eventually our result goals. But one of the ways you do that and get out of that rut is move away from result goals and go to activity goals. So what would activity goals look like? So I had mentioned that a result goal would be promoting or getting a certain amount of PV or getting a certain amount of teammates. An activity goal would be, I'm going to reach out to 5 of my customers daily to do follow-ups. I'm going to reach out to 5 former party guests each day and ask them if they would like to book a party. I'm going to talk to 5 people today about joining my team. So those are activity goals. The good thing about an activity goal, and why that helps you when you're in a rut, is it doesn't matter what the outcome is. I'm not saying I'm going to reach out to 5 people, or I'm going to reach out to people until somebody becomes a host so that I can get 5 hostesses. It doesn't matter whether they tell me yes or no. My goal is simply the activity. And when you change that mindset and change the activity, and you're more addicted to the activity than the result, then eventually the result will happen, because you're not doing that self-fulfilling prophecy where you are going to stop doing activities, therefore you're never going to meet the result goal. You're continuing to do the activity. And eventually, your luck is going to change. People are going to start saying yes instead of no. But it's continuing to do that activity until that happens. And again, it's a mindset thing. And so if you want to go even one step further, if you are so ingrained in being results-oriented instead of activity-oriented, and you want to go a step further, you can do an activity what's called Go for No, which, in addition to having an activity goal, you're purposely trying to get a certain number of people to tell you no. And what that does is you're actually reprogramming your brain to expect and want rejection, which is counterintuitive to everything we are as humans, right? Because we try to avoid rejection. So instead of avoiding rejection, you're actually going and you're trying to be rejected. And so what that would look like is, instead of saying, I'm going to reach out to 5 people today to ask if they want to be host, I can say, I'm going to reach out to former party guests and ask them if they want to host until I get up to 10 no's. So I'm going to continue to go through my list and ask people if they want to host until I get my 10 no's for the day. And that's my goal for the day. So you're actually setting the number of people you are contacting based on how many times you hear no. So it's kind of like almost an incentive, because it's like, if I hurry up and get all those no's, then I can stop for the day, right? So I'm going to keep going and asking all those people. So, and I say that in a way, it's still hard. Y'all, nobody likes asking and nobody likes saying no. But I'll give you a little hint on some more human nature. Not only are we programmed to not liking rejection or hearing no, because we know what that feels like, we also dislike saying no. And a lot of people don't think about it that way. But if you've been in direct sales a while, this totally makes sense, because how often do you get ghosted? Where you ask somebody, hey, do you want to host? Do you want to buy? Do you want to do whatever? And then they just don't respond. And the reason that is because they would rather just not answer than tell you no, because we don't like to say no. Even though, everybody intellectually knows it would be better to get an answer. You would rather get an answer and hear no from someone than just not hear anything at all, because at least you would know, right? But that's not the default. We're afraid of saying no as well. Now, you can kind of use that to your advantage in a lot of ways, but that's another training. How you can kind of use that fear of saying no that people have to your advantage as far as marketing and sales are concerned. But people don't like to say no either. And so, going through and getting that certain number of no's and going for no, not only are you trying to get people to respond, you're also, setting that activity goal, which is, I know, Toya, it is just so bad. Like, you don't want to hurt people's feelings. Like, saying no is so hard. It's almost as hard as hearing no. We just don't like that word as people, right? So, fear of rejection. So I'm saying this as if it's really easy, and it's not. It's one of the most difficult things to deal with in direct sales, because you're going against your human nature of avoiding rejection. Okay? One of the things I highly recommend, we had a speaker at Uncon, which is Posh's yearly convention. We call it Unconventional or Uncon. We had a speaker a few years ago, and I'm going to butcher his name, but I'm pretty sure it's Zhao Zhang. And he was a speaker at Uncon a few years ago, and he wrote a book that I'm not going to know the exact title, but basically like 100 Days of Rejection. Like, he literally went and did a podcast, like, on YouTube. Not a podcast, but he was on YouTube, and he actually he did that go for no type concept, and actually spent 100 days trying to do things and ask people things that would make them say no. And so he was our speaker at Uncon, and it was really, really interesting to hear about some of the human nature things that he learned by going for no and trying to overcome his own fear of rejection. And it was kind of like, I'm trying to, what that psychological term is, when you have a fear of something and you get over it by actually doing it. And I know there's a term for it, like exposure therapy. It's almost like an exposure therapy, but with rejection, right? By going and trying to get someone to tell you no, you get over your fear of rejection, because you keep doing it and you realize it didn't kill me. I'm still alive. I'm okay. And the more you do it, the less fear you have of being rejected. But the funny thing is not only did he start getting over his fear of being rejected, he found out this idea of people not liking to say no, that he can actually get people to say yes by trying to get them to say no. And it's super interesting. I'm going to drop it in the comments as soon as I get off of here. His TED Talk. He actually had a TED Talk over the same topic, and it was super interesting. The TED Talk's only like 15 minutes, so I highly recommend it. I'll drop the link as soon as I get off of here, talking about some of the things he learned, like actually trying to get over his fear of rejection, which is really, really interesting. And one of the biggest takeaways is staying engaged after someone tells you no, instead of running away, because it takes so much. We get so built up in our mind about just asking someone something, then it's like we want to run away as soon as they give us the answer, regardless of what the answer is, and especially if the answer is no. And with just a little bit more engagement, if instead of letting our fear make us run away as soon as we hear that no, if we stay engaged and even ask something as simple as why is your answer no? Just that simple question and response makes it, 100 times more likely that you're going to eventually get a yes, because if you run away, the answer is going to stay no. You have the opportunity to change it to a yes. But not only that, just the activity of trying to hear no makes you get more accustomed to it. So your homework for this week is to listen to Zhao Zhang's TED Talk. I'm going to drop the link for that. It's only 15 minutes, so not real difficult at all, which most of you should be spending. If you really want to be a leader, here's another thing, little tip. You really want to try to spend at least 15 minutes a day on self-improvement, just in general. So this is real easy. 15 minutes, right? Listen to this TED Talk. And then if you feel like you're in a rut and you want to try this out, come up, and you can either do this on your own. If you want some accountability, you can post it in here on what you're trying to do. But make an activity goal where you're going for no. So let us know, what your activity goal, how many no's you want to get, and what is it that you're asking that you're trying to get no for, to kind of get over that fear of rejection. But check out this TED Talk. Really, really interesting. And I know it's really hard to believe. There's no way you're like, that doesn't happen. But it really works, y'all. It really works. Like changing to an activity goal versus a results goal is just life-changing. It really is. Because when you're no longer tied to the outcome, there's so much less stress and things are just so much easier. So I encourage you to try that out. I'm going to drop that link. I hope you guys are going to have a great, great week. We have a new feature of the week. We have some stuff. I know it's been a little bit quiet because Amber's been gone, but she'll be coming back today. So hopefully we get a little activity. As always, drop any questions if you guys have anything. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.